Hey everyone, this is Manly Bastard, and welcome back to Vanilla, Garden of Judgment. Previously we got sent to this weird castle where we met a bunch of anime girls. We don't know if anything bad is gonna happen, but hopefully not, at least right away. It began with a small admiration. That small grain would become a hailstorm. Poured all to her was unknown to this girl at the time. The girl had been born in a snowy village. It was one rural village of many, and winter roads would easily drown and disappear in fallen snow. It was to the point that the plows couldn't keep up. In such a village, there was a child no passerby would rest their eyes on. She was average in a bad way. She had no talents. She had nothing to pride in. She was reserved, without friends, and had no place to keep her emotions. She spoke infrequently and smiled just as often. She would only seldomly change her expression. Had the girl been gloomy since birth? Or had her parents' divorce at her young age closed her heart? There was no way to tell. There was no well to live in her eyes. Or perhaps it was invisible. The girl who had no self-confidence had no choice but to shut herself away. But today was a special day. The girl had packed her carry case to the brim and dragged it with her along the snow-covered road. She was unusually cheerful as her feet crunched the snow beneath her. Perhaps because the doors to her destination were opening soon. She was out of breath without realizing. The girl had not gone to school. At the moment she was free for the summer and had exchanged her days for nights. Yet she had forced herself awake for the occasion. Of course, her sleep deprivation caused her head to ache. There was one reason that she had not given up. She had the goal of showing a novel she had written to a large audience at this event. That had been her reason to keep going on, her entire life. It was a time that a shut-in like her could find value in her life. It was a special stage upon which she could display her individuality. When the girl took a pen in hand, just like that, her world grew in size. The girl could create her very own world on top of a white sheet of paper. Her own thoughts, ideas, and feelings. She put her whole soul into her writing. She wasn't a pro. She didn't dream of becoming one. Just by going to events in her area and writing in obscurity, if her works were loved by some unnamed reader out there, her world could connect to others. There was only a bit she desired. A small amount of expectation. The girl's works couldn't be called popular, yet for that reason that the few people that did pick up her works made her heart dance. As long as someone gave her work a look, just like that, the girl was moved. She felt like she was alive. If she were to be given feedback, she would jump from the happiness. She might not have had talent, she might not have had more skill than most, but what she made was one and only in the world. It was an expression of her individuality. The girl at that time had thought she would like to continue to scrape by making a living with writing forever and ever. And then she probably died or something bad happened. Because nice things are allowed. The morning was refreshing. When I woke up in my room, I was still laying in bed. I did not move. I lay there watching the white currents blow in the breeze. That's right. Yesterday, not knowing who I was, I came to this strange place. I met a girl in the white in a flower field, and was taken to a white castle, and had met 3 girls. I shouldn't have woken. If I had opened my eyes, I wouldn't have to think over things so hard. My brain grew foggy again. It was because I had a bad dream. It wasn't a nice dream at all. Like Loa said, it was a nightmare. It was a bittersweet dream that broke loose parts of my brain I didn't have access to. What would happen to me from now on? Just why was I brought to this place? The girl in white told me that I would have to find that out for myself. Would I ever discover why? There was a part of me that did not want to. Just what would happen to me when I recalled everything? Wasn't it possible that I would go insane? Wasn't it possible that I would crumble beneath the pain in my chest and I'd lose my senses? I did not want that to happen. I was anxious. It was hard to breathe. Someone help me. Please. Bud! Hey, how long are you gonna sleep, Blanco? Wake up already. Everyone's already eating breakfast. It was Lilith that came to wake me up. I changed my clothes in a hurry and headed to the cafeteria. It's not like I want to wake you up or anything and see your sleeping face. We surrounded a large dining table and ate breakfast. There was an aromatic lineup of homemade cooking on the table, but I wasn't very hungry. It seemed I didn't have it in me to eat good food happily at the moment. Unlike me, everyone must have slept well. Seema was eating Soyo's cooking with zest. Lilith was soft-like as usual, so I didn't pay attention. If I didn't eat the food placed in front of me, it would be rude to the cook. It wasn't anyone's fault that I wasn't hungry anyway. Thinking wouldn't do to break the atmosphere, I forced myself to put food in my mouth and pretend it was delicious. Oh, it's great. Phew, Soyo's cooking is the best. Today is no exception. I gotta be careful, I get to be eating this every day. It's delicious, just keep it simple. I'm glad to see you like it, Blanco. It must be because you're a housewife that you're good at cooking. I need to learn from you. Must be nice to be a housewife. Don't have to work and only do chores, right? I should have found a nice guy and gotten married. Hold up, Lilith. A housewife is just like any job, you know? Aren't you forgetting that housework is a manual labor? There's no need, Seema. It's the truth. When I was in my home, I only did the chores. Come on, Soyo. You're allowed to get mad when you want to. You don't need to worry about being the newest here. Because it doesn't matter when you're the oldest. Los worse. You're all noisy. Shut it. Blanco. I may be a college student, but I'm old enough to be a salarywoman, so I get a free pass. Hey, aren't you a school kid, Seema? Age-wise, I mean. Yeah, I am. Well, I dropped out early. Do people really think dropping school early is that bad? That's not the case. There's many ways to live. There's no rule on how one is to live their life. You think so? Thanks, Soyo. I feel a bit better now. You're kind of philosophical. Your wisdom must come of age. I want to grow up and be like you, and soon. You really look younger. But you all look about the same age to me. Oh, I'm not philosophical. I'm not someone that should be a role model. Oh, love, are you jealous? Don't worry, I love you, Soyo and Blanco all equally, even though we just met. The latter person, that is. What are you even saying? I'm not jealous. Boy, you're sundering everyone, aren't you? Like, you get toast from a toaster, and it's like, not like I want to get toast from you or anything. I just want to eat some butter, that's all. Damn toaster cunt. Baka slaps it and burns her hand. Started a house fire! Why did I ever slap a toaster? I should have learned some emotional maturity. Okay, I'm getting too into this. Both of you get along quite well. A ring of smiles formed with Seema at the center. It was a peaceful morning. A peaceful scene just like any would find in a family home played out. I felt as if I'd been accepted as a member of this warm family. I felt better following the girl's conversation. I felt that as long as I had these three with me, I would be able to survive the nightmares. I thought I could pass like a gentle breeze, and even if I was in pain, I felt as if I could stay smiling. I thought that this happiness would stay. Not going by this in-between frame. Ah, we finally meet. The girl was surprised to have someone call out to her in a quiet stadium. It was a thin man that stood in front of her. The man smiled while the girl, flustered, did not know what was happening. Aren't you Seema? If I'm not wrong, you were at the last event too. Yes, I was. But I knew it. Actually, I read your last novel. It really moved me. I thought the author wrote such a magnificent work. What? Magnificent? I'm not... My writing isn't magnificent. You must be mistaken. No, that's not true. Please be confident in yourself. I've become a fan of yours. A fan. I couldn't understand what he meant for a moment, and when it hit me, I was shocked. What? My fan? Of course. A person who loved the girl's works had appeared before her. Naturally, it had been the first time she'd been told such a thing. It was a clear memory that her hands had shook and the happiness had upset her. Such goodwill hadn't been bestowed on her until that very moment. The girl felt as if her heart was being cleansed by the man's refreshing smile. Another jump cut? After breakfast, both Seema and Lilith went separate ways. That's right. Cleaning, laundry, and cooking. In this castle, each resident had their own chores to complete. As I had just arrived, I had to be given a role. I was left alone in the cafeteria. My, Blanco. What's the matter? Soyo, who had been gathering dirty dishes, called to me when she realized I was there. Shall I help? Gotta sound confident, assertive. It's not, is there anything I can do? It's just, I want to help you. Oh, dear, was that it? There's no need. I imagine you must be still getting used to the new environment. But, if you're looking for extra work to lend a hand, why not help Seema? I mean, it's her chapter anyway. She said that she planned to tidy up the library earlier. If I wanted with an end goal in mind, I would surely get in someone's way. Now I'd listen to Sayo's advice. Soyo? When I arrived at the library, I came upon Soyo reading upright. She noticed my presence when I came near and raising her eyes, smiled her usual smile. What are you reading? Oh, this. The title is Girls Inferno. The author has already passed away, though. To put it simply, it's about 3 girls who die. But as you read on, you slowly get the whole picture. Huh? Surprise. I read these kind of books. There's a kind of energy in this author's stuff. It's charming somehow. Girls Inferno. It's bright, ruthless, and beautiful. It's a dark story, but it's hard to put the book down. Before you know it, you're through the whole thing. I want to learn how to write something like that. I think about it sometimes. The story we're in right now could be dreamed up. Like the protagonist in this book, you'd be digging up us through these crimes and history. I wonder if everything here is just someone's imagination. If you aren't just reading some book. Boy, you really like that whole fourth wall kind of book within a book metaphor, don't you? You see, you don't know where you are or who you are. The protagonist in the book doesn't, so the reader can put themselves in his shoes. But I'm wrong, aren't I? This isn't a dream, it's a video game. This feels real and in my hands. I have a feeling. I can taste things too. Sorry I said something weird. That was all just a small prank of an offer. Forget about it. The shadow disappeared from Soyo's face and was replaced by a bright smile. By the way, Blanco, did you come to lend me a hand? Use me, please, and thank you. Oh, you should have told me sooner. Okay, I'll let you get to it. As I cleaned the books under Seema's guidance, a single small pamphlet caught my eye. It was a simple pamphlet made by stapling printer paper. It brought on the nostalgia of a homemade project for school. Just who made it? It was simply displayed on the corner table, and feeling drawn to it, I picked it up before I knew it. You interested in that one, Blanco? I wrote that. If you want to, Blanco, do you want to try reading it? My story, I mean. Still don't like the in-between. Do we trust this young man? He could be a Ro type character. Shima, You want to celebrate with me after this event? Somehow the conversation was, "You're amazing, Shima. I wish I could be like you. You're cute and you can write too." Something was off. I felt something was wrong while talking to the man. "Do you have a boyfriend?" She had a bad feeling. A seething feeling of inferiority washed over her. "Hey, I have fallen for you, Shima." It was at that moment she realized. It wasn't the girl's works that the man had been looking at. It had been her. I'm afraid I'm not following. I'm in love with you. At first I thought I'd just read your stuff, but now I'm in love with the author behind the books." She did not want this. She couldn't let this continue. She had to distance herself from him. She had made a mistake. She had ended up becoming good friends with the person who had said he was a fan of her work. She must have been happy. Happy to have someone, a friend, to validate her. She was conceited, and because of that she caused a misunderstanding. I won't see you again. I'm sorry, you were interested in me, weren't you? I thought it was my works you loved, but I was wrong. That's why I won't be meeting you again. Please don't talk to me ever again. The misunderstanding had to end right then and there. The girl couldn't remember the man's expression. He had been surprised, most likely. What a shame, really. She hadn't looked at his face. She couldn't. If she did, she might have been hurt too. A few months passed since the girl said farewell to the man. There would never be communication between them again. They would not hear each other's voice nor see their faces. The girl had nearly forgotten of the man's existence. The girl came home as usual after finishing a part-time job. It was coming home that she came upon an unusual scene. There was a paper bag hanging from her doorknob. What was it? No. Stop, she had an inkling of what it was. She knew, but she didn't want to acknowledge it. She wanted it to be some mistake. Her heart pounded noisily in her chest. She could feel her heartbeat quicken unnaturally. She was afraid. Fearfully, she peered into the bag. In the paper bag, there was a box cake and a letter. On the face of the letter was a few words, scrawled messily. "Happy birthday, Shima." Vomit Chan. .jpg. Disgusting. His affection for her was. The way his eyes locked on her, his gaze disgusted her no end. It wasn't like that. She hadn't meant it that way. She didn't want to be like that with him. No. She hadn't meant to fish for men by writing. She wanted someone to acknowledge her. She wanted to make friends. That was all she wanted in the end. Here she was, crushed underneath such a small happening. She felt brainless and it frustrated her. She felt as if she had been trampled on her work up until the present. I knew it from the start. I didn't have a shred of talent. I knew I couldn't write a single thing that moved people. Just why did she have to suffer so much? Why did she have to crawl the earth like a bug no matter where she went? Did she have to acknowledge she was worthless? Now we jump back to the present. I mean, if you consider this a present. Probably out of a timeline, if anything. What did you think? I closed the book, having read it to the end. Do you read or write, Blanco? You see, a long time ago, before I even realized it, I was writing in my school notes during class. In the beginning, the writing had no meat to it. Actually, it might have been an escape from reality, because I didn't like school. I didn't have friends. I couldn't believe it. Seema, the center of the smiles in this castle. I found it hard to believe the girl who'd brighten her surroundings like Seema could have had such a dark past. The fragmented chapters began to take shape. Eventually they became enough to call a novel. Now, writing is like the cornerstone of my life. It's hard to put into words, but when I'm done writing, I feel refreshed. Like I said goodbye to my sad past and forgot all about it. Seema put on a lonely smile and continued. There is a sequel to this story. Do you want to know what happens to her? I haven't shown it to anyone. The ending. I was told there's a hand number pamphlet. I understood its weight as soon as I held it in my hands. It must have seemed as heart and soul in it. I had an inkling what it meant to read it. I hardened my resolve and opened the pamphlet. So a little bit of post-commentary. I'm gonna skip this scene. To give a spoiler, it's an attempt. Nothing specifically happens, but some of the text is a little bit graphic, and I probably wouldn't be comfortable showing that on the modern YouTube environment. And it's a very short scene anyways, so you don't really lose anything. Like, you get the idea of what's happening here. She's like a boy. Gross. Right, let's ignore her. No, I didn't want to remember my school years. Look, she's back. Stop corning me. My bullying wasn't as clear-cut as dramas. What happened to me was fraught with malice. My belongings disappeared and I was treated as I was invisible. And I also was insulted specifically where I could hear. The fact this was all done behind the teacher's back made it worse. Nobody could help me. In my teacher's eyes, I was most likely seen as a sad loner without friends. That wasn't exactly wrong. It wasn't wrong, but it wasn't right. If I have to go through this, I'd rather die. Eventually I would stop going to school. That was how I kept living. In order to live and in order to run away from my despair, I chose to escape it all. My mom often criticized me. Yet all the other kids my age were able to go to school as usual. Why was her kid the only one not going? Why was she the one made with faulty parts? Why couldn't she do the obvious? My mother, while scolding me, was that what she was thinking? Why can't you get along with anyone? Go to school, get going and fight. Your mother was bullied too back then. I still kept going because if I did, that would be accepting failure. So why can't you do the same? My mom slapped me hard. Sometimes she'd punch me too. Once she emptied an entire bucket of water in my hand and it only escalated from there. So the mom was just a bully also. I was slowly losing my rights as a human being. But I was stubborn. No matter what happened to me, I didn't want to go. I wanted to avert my eyes, or it made me hurt to the point I wanted to die. It was possible that my mother had wanted her useless daughter to breathe her last breath. She wanted me to die. And that's why she told me I had to go to school. Boy, this visual novel was played really straight. No, I don't want to go. If I'm gonna go to school, I might as well die. Nobody understood me. Eventually, I didn't have enough credits and I dropped out. My mother didn't say anything after that. She had given up on me, though, I thought. Oh, so that was it. She had been disappointed with me from her very core. That's what I had thought. But I didn't have a choice. Cut me some slack. I couldn't handle the pain when it hurt even more than death would. My heart ached with pain enough that I wanted to scream. It was anguish. I'd been ignored at school, but from then on I didn't have to worry about any of that. The price I had paid was the same treatment from my mother. It was because I was useless. It was because I had nothing special to my name. I was tired. Things sunk into darkness, as if I was being drowned in a swamp. I escaped from society all on my lonesome. I was afraid that I would never return to normal. I didn't know what would happen next. I wanted to die and fast. In the midst of all that, I found my very own light. I had felt my existence validated for the very first time. I felt that I had been given something for all my sufferings. But reality wasn't so kind. It was all a trick. This passion wasn't directed at my works. I got ahead of myself when I felt like I received acceptance. No, the man had been making a fool of me. He sneered at my determination. What was happening was only putting a curse on my soul. That's why. That's why? I killed him. Me. Why? An ocean of blood had spread before me. A pen was gripped in my fist. It was the fountain pen I'd always used to write novels. Blood was dripping from its knife-sharp tip. What? I did him in. Me. Something unthinkable had happened. I couldn't stop myself from shaking. Eventually, I forced myself to calm down and remember what had happened. In your defense, that was self-defense. I would feel no remorse. I laid out the events in my mind and finally understood. I get it. I killed someone. I finished reading and closed the booklet. A grandiose story of an individual's life. The story of a girl who couldn't be saved. What should be said? I had a hunch since reading the first book. That's right. This story was written as if Seema was the protagonist. Is the girl in this possibly... That's right. This is my story. About the crime I committed. I didn't see no crime in me. I know you're traumatized and you feel a lot of guilt, and it's understandable. But it's alright. When I did can't be forgiven, I know that much. The reality is that I think I want someone to look at this and get someone to forgive me. Blanco, what did you think about me? You're judging me, aren't you? Okay, Red. So I guess it is borrowing some from, whatchamacallit, where it did color code the decision. I guess I'll say I forgive you, and then I'll reload. I think this is more of a religious, symbolic version of crime. Like, I committed a crime, and since it's a sin to murder, because all murder is supposed to be sin, depending on your interpretation. Blanco, you're nice. Too nice. A murderer like me deserves worse. I couldn't speak badly of those who had sinned. See, sin. As I hadn't even remembered my own. And to persecute someone else would be... I mean, this may not be an actual hell, this might be more of a limbo. Because you don't necessarily go to limbo just because... It depends on your interpretation and your religion or whatever. You know, there's variations in limbo and so on. But generally, if you lived a traumatic life, and you have like, a lot of regrets, whether or not you actually committed a direct sin, you go to like some form of limbo in a lot of religions. So maybe this is more about helping them move on than so much as punishing him for doing a bad act. We'll see with the other characters. Seema had shown me kindness when I lost amnesia. Who could persecute this girl who had been so generous to me? However, I could choose to forgive her, even if I wasn't given forgiveness by another. I could give the simple act of choosing to forgive someone important to me, someone who was suffering with the burden of their sin. This was the best I could offer at the time. But if you're with me, Blanco, I feel like I could forgive myself and my past, and everything else too. Hey, could you stay with us here from now on? I nodded silently. There was no reason to refuse, was there? From here on, our future was starting now. We'd only just begun. Thanks, Blanco. Thank you. Seema smiled at me, tears in her eyes. She was smiling, certainly, but she seemed a little lonely somehow. When would I see her smile from the bottom of her heart? I didn't need to worry. If me, Seema, and the other two were together, sometime, someday, we would build a heaven overgrowing with gardenias, rather. Infertile ground could change, surely. Satori. That's my actual name. From here on, I want you to call me by it. That's a little weird, because you actually have the same color coding as a certain Toho with the same name. We would let it build up. Fun memories, happy happenings, we experienced it together. We'd share it all. I would forgive her crimes. Is this actually a bad ending? It is! What? The happy ending is a bad ending? So we're supposed to get everyone killed. Murderers aren't forgiven. Oh! Seema stumbled to her feet and suddenly grabbed me by the collar, bursting into maniacal laughter. You're a liar, 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 liar. I shouldn't have shown my story to anyone. The only person you can trust in this world is yourself, don't you think? Usoda! You're awful. There's no gods out there. They won't save me. Nobody understands me. I can't get forgiveness. If anybody knew the truth, I'd just be judged and sneered upon. They'll all say I'm a murderer. Hey, isn't that the truth? Open your mouth and say something for once. I won't be forgiven anyway. I shouldn't be here. I'm not needed, aren't I, right? Blanco. Tell me something, Blanco. What do I gotta do to be forgiven? What do I gotta do to be free? What was I supposed to do? Hey. I guess since it seemed happy, it was actually a bad end because they're still here in the limbo. Like, you're just content, but it's not really addressing the issue, maybe? Or this plot's just crazy, who knows? Oh, right. What did you think I did with the body? You see, back then, I fought a whole bunch on it. I wondered just where I could dispose of a corpse. This is obvious when you think about it. You don't hide in the mountains or sea, not in the forest. Corpses are meant to be put in a grave. Oh, I thought you ate it. Aren't I smart? I wonder why I didn't realize until then. Of course I laughed when I came up with the idea. I mean, isn't it plain cut that bodies go in graves? What was happening? Why did I get to this point? Stop it already. I was losing my sanity. This had to be some kind of mistake. Seema had a smile like the sun wouldn't corner me like this. I had remained motionless with Seema's grip tight on my collar. Before I saw a chance and took it, I pushed her with all my might. Ow. What are you doing, Blanco? You pushed a girl. I only realized in the fearsome thing that I had done. She was a girl. Even though it was self-defense, it was wrong for me, a man, to hurt a girl. Ah, I get it, just like him. You don't try to understand me and want things to go your way. Her hands reached out to my neck. Seema's eyes pierced mine and I was able to look away. Under that pressure, my knees were ready to buckle. I had no escape. Why don't I kill you too? I've already sinned. It wouldn't mean much if I added another murder to the pile. I've given up on being human already. Seema strengthened her grip. My consciousness was slowly fading as my neck was strangled. Ah, she was going to kill me. I'll judge you for your sins. I'm the god of this world. I'm the creator. Understand? Her sinister voice was fading, fading, fading. Why did it suddenly change so fast? When I awoke, Seema was no longer there. It appeared that I had collapsed on the floor of the library. Had that just been a nightmare? That must have been it. Surely the bright and caring Seema couldn't have done what had happened to me. She wouldn't have tried to murder me. I didn't want to believe such a thing. I wanted it all to be some kind of mistake. I needed a change of pace, so I headed to the baths for a shower. But it was there I realized what I had seen was not a dream. Oh no. Looking into the mirror, a mark around my neck was a pain to see. Seema tried to kill me, and disappeared. I searched around the castle for her, but came up with nothing. She was nowhere to be found. Both Soyo and Lilith told me they hadn't seen her since the afternoon. The last person to have seen her was me. Why? Why did she stop herself in the middle of trying to murder me? Or was I supposed to have died, but survived on a mere miracle? But that was only part of it. Without Seema, it was impossible to know what her disappearance meant, and what happened in the first place. Did she move on? Did she go to hell? Or did I murder her in self-defense when I blacked out? Why did things get to be like this? Was it my appearance that changed everything? Was it my fault the peace was disturbed? In the night while everyone slept, I guided my heavy feet to the garden. Let's go in the garden. We're gonna find something waiting that we don't like. It was just a hunch. I didn't expect anything, but I had the feeling I could meet Seema there. I felt like I could see her there, caring for the flowers like she always had. Maybe she became self-fertilizer. Opposing my wishes, the gardenias in the garden were wilting. The plants were hunched over the earth, the inside of the buds never having seen the light, yet Seema had given them so much attention. I had a bad feeling. Something was going to happen and it wasn't good. The gardenia. I jumped when suddenly someone spoke behind me. When I turned around, the girl in white stood before me, not Seema. It's said to be grown in heaven. I see they have wilted. I wonder if she had wanted this place to be heaven. The girl seemed taken aback as I kneeled before the flowers as if to pray or mourn. My, what causes you to be so gloomy? It's my fault she disappeared. Her disappearance is not your fault. I said it, did I not? That this place will absolve you of all your crimes. You are free to do as you please here. She had given up her humanity. Those of the human race who choose to kill their fellow man can no longer be called human. If this is not the obvious conclusion, you two could not meet eye to eye. You two lived in very different worlds from the beginning. Humans cannot become God. Seema had yet to realize she was the one to be judged before she disappeared, I believe. Where did Seema go? Her existence returned to nothingness. This was both an eventuality and a choice of her own. Neither you nor I could do anything to stop it. You seem more like a victim than anything else, so... I have told you this before, however. Do be sure not to become too emotionally invested in the others. Your unnecessary conclusions will only lead to self-destruction. What Vanilla said was true. She was right, and I couldn't accept what had happened to Seema. I couldn't say farewell to her so easily. She'd been so important to both Soyo and Lilith. They would be shocked to hear about her disappearance. It was true that what she had done was wrong, but I had been a part of it too. That wasn't just her problem. You could not know what a person would do when they're cornered. Her state of mind neared collapse, and she was almost dirty in both mind and body. She nearly lost her human rights and sense of self. She scripted the pieces of her life to live in hardship. By putting her regrets and difficulties on a page, she was writing a message to society. What she had been shouting in her heart, that had become words and then a novel. That novel was her own life. That was incredible in itself. Even in pain, she struggled to send a message. She sought out help. That required courage. Why couldn't I have accepted her then? This is gonna be a Mogako Castle situation when it comes to the endings, isn't it? I know there's supposed to be some symbolism behind it, and it's gonna slowly reveal itself to me. The only thing I can think of, like I said, is under some religious interpretations, because Kieran actually does like to write a little bit of a religious tinge to things. Not hard religion, but more like a spirituality stuff. That even if you are a victim, depending on your mental state, you can be a bad person per se. And so that's how I'm going to interpret it. That due to all of the trauma and the events, that at her core, she had become a broken person that was capable of theoretically I'm assuming we're innocent, choking on an innocent person when she the thread snapped, if you know what I mean. I call it, I have a personal term for it, and I call it basically it's like a Shakespearean tragedy. We'll find out more. I don't want to speculate too much too early. I slipped into the bed and frustrated, not ready to sleep. Would I be able to rest like this? Actually, would I have a nightmare in the state I was in? I didn't want to be shown anything worse than I had already seen. I wanted to get along with everyone and live in peace. That peace had ended violently. That was wrong. In truth, I had been the one to end it. It was my fault. If I had shown her forgiveness in that moment, we would have technically gotten a bed in. As I laid and fought, light began to dye the horizon. Soon it would be morning, a morning of despair. Welcome to the Garden of Judgment. Things ain't gonna work out. Button. In that garden, not one voice was heard. Only the sound of the breeze pushing past could be heard. In that field where white flowers bloomed, a girl was spread out on the ground. Hey, God. Why can't I be forgiven? Maybe it's about forgiving yourself or something? I was just happy, making the things I like, the way I liked. I really was just happy with that. I didn't need anything else. Despite saying that, she knew it wasn't true. It was a lie that all she wanted was to create. The truth was she wanted acceptance from someone. She wanted to be complimented, she wanted feedback. And that was it. She wanted assurance that she was creating something unique to herself. She wanted assurance that she herself was one of a kind. Essentially, she wanted someone to tell her that they were glad she was born, that it was okay for her to keep on living. She wanted to be accepted by someone. I must have wanted a friend. You could smile a lonely smile on your own, but nobody would respond. You'd only hear the sound of the breeze. The girl knew this. She'd only been speaking to herself. It was all her fault that things had turned out badly, and yet the things that had been no one's fault, she wanted to pin them onto someone. She wanted to be free of responsibility. She wanted to feel a bit better about herself. There was one thing that had bothered her while she spoke to Blanco. A memory that she had forgotten in the peacefulness of her daily life in the castle. A memory that should have stayed buried in the dark. Why did I come here? She killed the man that had tried to rape her, and then what happened to her? She without a doubt remembered killing that man without meaning to in her struggle, though she couldn't recall the details. She had been digging the dirt to bury the body in the grave. She recalled being drenched in sweat. Huh? But she could not recall what happened after. How did she come to this place? Who had brought her here? What she could remember lastly was a downpouring of rain, and the mud in the cemetery being slippery. Did you slip and hit your head? Oh, I get it. Oh man, that's it. She closed her eyes. She took in a deep breath and filled her lungs with a sweet aroma around her. She hoped that the fragrance had poison. If it did, then she hoped it would fill the hole inside it. Then she could. When she realized the truth, the girl felt worthless. She had lost any meaning in the time she was spending here. Her hard work, too, had been for nothing. She had hoped that the place where she was headed was heaven. She had worked hard to fulfill that goal in her life. She had worked to create, but the reality was cruel and unforgiving. She would disappear, no matter who mourned, ignoring what she had left behind. All would lose meaning. She would accept everything. So I was right. Oh! It became vanilla! Ooh. So it was... Okay, so it is a limbo. At least on the surface, anyway. And it was a situation, like I said, where it's not necessarily that the murder of Sin was the issue, but it's more of the incapability of resolving her trauma and self-forgiveness. That's the issue. So she had died like right after the event, so she didn't have time to like cope with the situation. I don't know why her choking me to death was the cure for her to move on. I know why the one end's a bad end, because she doesn't move on, she just lingers in limbo. It's like not facing reality, I guess. That's the symbolism. So I guess we're tasked with helping everyone move on. And then we'll eventually face our own demons. Hopefully not too terrible, but who knows.